All right, Beck. Episode 4. We're back. Obviously, today we're talking NBA draft. We had a really interesting draft, a lot of storylines, some funny ones, some other ones. We're gonna start with the biggest winners and losers of the draft. Do you want to start with your list, or do you want me to start?
Yeah, we can go back and forth like one winner.
All
I'll
right,
give one winner, you give one winner.
let's do it. You want to
Yeah.
start?
Yeah, I'll give my first winner. It's the Atlanta Hawks. They continue to fleece the New Orleans Pelicans. They've done it two straight off seasons, two different regimes. Joe Dumars gets back into office as a general manager, and he gets right to doing what he does best, and that's fucking up the whole intel of the system. Wow, Joe Dumars. I just can't believe like what goes on in your brain. Should have
Yeah.
stayed as the head of the NBA PA. That was a good position for you. Because
It's
whatever
a
the
good
fuck this one was, just I mean, it's
dude.
laughable. And well, I'll get to them in the losers. I'm sorry. I know this is a winner segment. So
Yeah.
Atlanta Hawks, they get an unprotected first round pick next year, 2026, in a draft class that projects to be better than this one currently. This one had a lot of depth, but the next one is gonna be star studded. And remind me that 2026 unprotected pick, that's the worst of them, Milwaukee, and somebody else, correct?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty nuts for New Orleans just to go up and get Queen. Um, yeah, do you like Asa Newell, who the Hawks ended up getting with the 23rd pick?
Yeah, he fell a decent amount. I think you get good value for him there. Really, what makes them winners is just how much they get for 13. That's the
Yeah.
type of return. That pick alone is the type of return you should get for moving up from like 10 to 5.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just a bad perception of value from the Pelicans. The Hawks come away winners. I really like it for them. I think
I
they
mean,
could potentially be looking at two number one overall picks in 3 years now.
yeah, and you said it. Next year's draft, you got AJ DeMansa. You got the kid from Kansas. I forget his name, but it's
Hunter
star-studded at the top.
Dickinson.
Hunter Dickinson. Yeah, he signed a little undrafted contract. So Beck's first choice is Atlanta for the winners. I'm gonna take Yang Hansen as my first pick. Third Chinese player to ever be drafted in the first round, first since 2007. Obviously, Yao Ming as well earlier. I don't know if you've seen his post-draft interviews, but they're incredible. It's him with his interpreter, and they're asking him like just, general questions. And they're like, "Oh, like if you were never an NBA player, what would you do?" And he's like, "I like to sleep, I play PS5, and I eat." And I was like, "Let's go, Yang Hansen." I mean, whether or not that pick is good value for Portland, we'll debate that. But yeah, Yang Hansen, third Chinese player to ever be drafted in the first round. That's my first pick.
Nah, I kind of agree. He's got the hoop mixtape thing down. He's like the first hoop mixtape guy out of China ever. I don't really give a fuck if they reached it's
Yeah.
the type of pick that it has a little swagger to it. And I could definitely see him being the type that he has an interpreter, but he knows English. He knows how to speak English. I think he's that type of talent. So I like the pick.
Yeah, he's also, I don't know if you saw him at the combine, but that's sort of how he rose. He's like a weird kind of guy where he has like some passing kind of IQ. He can step out and shoot a little bit as like a 7-1 guy. But he didn't even get a green room invite, and he actually was sitting in like the crowd when he got picked at 16, and he had to like walk through the entire arena to get up to the front. It was pretty funny. But yeah, Yang Hansen, that's my top pick.
Everything about that was electric.
Awesome. All right, what's your second winner of the draft?
My second winner of the draft, I kind of went back and forth on this one. Uh, there's just more losers in my mind in this draft than there are
Yeah,
winners.
definitely.
And I would have had the Suns here if they didn't do the most weird shit of all time, but they did. So my second winner, I think this is probably the most obvious winner. It's got to be the Spurs. You get Dylan Harper at 2. You get Carter Bryant at 14. Thanks to some weird teams in front of them. It's just, it's unbelievable how it falls right into their lap.
Nuts.
Um, there's nothing else that really needs to be said. They make the normal pick. They let the teams in front of them make the weird picks.
That's exactly.
Congrat like
Yeah.
congratulations, and that's how you win the draft.
This
Like,
is this yeah, and this is what I wanted to talk about is when we talk about like how Howie Roseman has done just outstanding things with the Eagles. This is what he does. He takes the guys that you should be taking. Jalen Carter drops, he takes him. Carter Bryant for the Spurs drops to 14. They take him. They don't take the swing on a random dude from France or some random pick. They just take the best player on the board, and they did it twice, and that's why they're definitely one of the winners of this draft.
yeah, I was gonna say you don't really need to do anything outside the box these days to be a winner. Yeah, you got enough retarded GMs around the league that will do the work for you. So congratulations to the Spurs. I also think the Thunder came away a slight winner. You can't say they're like one of the main winners of the draft, but they get a Thunder DNA guy who figures to be an iHeart replacement. So good for
Yeah.
them. He has braces. He fits the Thunder culture. Of course, he has braces.
Yeah.
And it just
That's a Philly guy.
yeah, it's what the Thunder do. So
Sorber,
really,
Sorber's a Philly guy. Yeah, I like the Sorber pick for OKC. I kind of see him as somebody who could potentially steal the other Jalen Williams minutes. The Arkansas Jalen Williams. I think he projects more as a four. He's incredibly talented defensively, pretty limited offensively, but just huge shot blocker, athletic, can get out and run. Toolsy guy that OKC loves to take, can kind of do a little bit of everything. Yeah, I love that one for them. And I was pretty surprised that he fell all the way down to 15. Um,
give me another winner.
yeah, my second winner, we're gonna go with Javon Small's grandpa.
Yep,
Yeah,
Grizzly
I was
product.
gonna say Grizzly product. Javon Small, obviously West Virginia guard, goes in the second round, 48th overall. And as he's getting his post-draft interview with Monica McNutt, which we'll get to, um, his grandpa is just audibly crying so loud, and they cut over to him, and he just keeps looking around, going, "That's my boy, that's my boy," and he gets up. He if that wasn't it, he gets up and just puts his arm in the air and goes, "That's my boy." It was just an awesome moment. It's just really cool. Javon Small said that his grandpa was at all of his AAU games growing up. Was a huge part of his basketball journey. So Javon Small's grandpa's is
Yeah,
my number two winner of the draft.
way to show out and represent. A lot of family members in this draft and have the greatest moments. So good for you. At pick 59, you kind of salvaged the moment for the family members. Proud of you.
Danny Wolf's brother.
Yep.
Yeah, Beck, who's your third winner of the draft?
Like I think about it teams that won, so I'll go to people. I think Stephen A. Smith won out of all the really shitty broadcasting that ESPN had. Stephen A. wins the show again. I had to turn it off from the main ESPN channel, which had Perk, Andrea Carter, Malika Andrews, who called. She
Oh
said
yeah.
Colin Coward got drafted to the Grizzlies. Just amazing
Yeah.
work from them. So I flip over to ABC, and Stephen A. Smith is pretty much ejaculating over Jeremiah Fierce. He was pretty funny on the broadcast. So he
Yeah.
comes away a winner to me. He's earning that bill that ESPN's paying him. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the Fierce pick, we'll get to that one. That was an interesting one. An interesting fit. My last winner of the draft here, we're gonna go with the 400,000 plus Jewish population in Brooklyn because the Nets kind of in a like not predictable fashion took Danny Wolf, followed up by Ben Saraf of the Israeli Basketball League, and they go to the city, the borough, in the United States with the biggest Jewish population in the entire country. So
Yeah, they're trying to become the nation's team. They get Igor. I know he went to BYU, but he's out of Russia. They get Traore out of France, and then they get the Israeli products, Serif.
yeah,
Serif was earlier in the process, like projected to be like a late lottery guy. So he fell down during the combine, and I'm not even sure if he attended the combine, but he fell down through this pre-draft process. But yeah, they get two big guards with court vision. I'm happy that they passed on the Illinois product. however you say his name. I'm not going to try.
Yeah,
I'm like Kendrick.
Yakashonis.
I'm Kendrick Perkins with
Kendrick Perkins.
pronunciation, but yeah, I like Igor a lot. We'll see how Seraph is,
You
but
love Igor, dude.
shout out to the Nets. We're going global.
Yeah, but yeah, Saraf was a guy who early on in the process we thought could be like end of lottery kind of guy, and he ended up falling all the way to 26. And the Nets took him there. So I think a lot of people were pretty mad about that pick. I didn't mind it. Um, the Danny Wolf pick to me w was an interesting one because uh, the Nets take Igor, who Russian kid out of BYU, crazy tools guy, you know, shooting deficiencies, probably defensive deficiencies. Um, so that's a draft and stash kind of guy. Then you take Saraf, who's also a toolsy long guy out of the Israeli league. Traore, another toolsy guy who's not super polished. And then Danny Wolf, who's it's I mean it's a theme here. And I guess it's the team that should be doing that because they don't project to win for another 5 years. But yeah, what do you think about that?
I agree. I think the landing spot. I was so happy when Igor went 8. Thought that was the perfect landing spot for him there. So when they took Seraph, I was a little bit offset, but I guess you're trying to breed competition, and the plan is one of those two guys theoretically will hit and be your point guard of the future. I do think Igor has a chance to be a great shooter in the league. I know the shot. Like a lot of people have concerns about a shot off the dribble. If he's not tasked with being like the main guy going off the dribble to make shots, I think he's a good catch and shoot guy.
Mm.
Um, Seraph, don't know much about him. I know they kind of project to be the same type of guy. I heard that Seraph has a little bit of uh, like he's going to talk some shit. That's kind of the theme what he was doing over there in Israel. So we'll see how that translates to the U.S. soil. But Danny Wolf, I like Michigan's team last year. They had I know the guy who came over from FAU with their coach.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was an undrafted guy who got signed.
Golden.
Yeah, Golden.
Yeah.
Another guy. I'm not going to try to pronounce his
Yeah.
first name, but
Vladislav
yeah.
Golden. Yeah.
But I think that coach over there at Michigan, he's a really good coach. I picked FAU to go to the Final Four that year that they did. So
Yeah.
shout out to me.
Yeah, that
I'm a
was awesome.
genius. Um, but yeah, I don't mind the Wolf pick. Just hopefully you get 2 out of 5 guys here that you took in the first round will hit.
Right.
And
And we didn't
honestly, yeah,
Right. Yeah, and we didn't mention Drake Powell. He was the fifth pick. He's another guy. I would say he's a bit more polished than the others just because he has, I think, some NBA tools that are immediately transferable. He's a long wing who can shoot, can defend, can kind of do a lot of stuff. All right, so transitioning now. Also, a Dusty May shout out from Beck. Let's go. College hoops knowledge.
I was
Uh,
forgetting his name. We'll get into how I got to that, but
right.
just short and sweet. Like if I'm going for a sneaky Final Four team any year, I'm gonna go Google all their coaches and see the guy who looks like the high IQ guy. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I do my thing.
Yeah. Let's go. So let's transition now to the losers of the draft. Beck, do you want to start with your first loser?
Yeah, it's the New Orleans Pelicans. It's fucked by them, incredibly fucked
Yeah.
by them. Jeremiah Fears at 7. I just don't get this roster. This whole roster is just a crapshoot of guys. Yeah, let's bring in Jordan Poole. So they have DeJounte Murray, Jordan Poole, bring in Fierce. So many ball dominant guys there in the backcourt. You still have Zion. Got Trey Murphy, who was on the ball a lot last year. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's just a collection of basketball players. Congrats, Joe Dumars. You played yourself. This is a disgusting. Like I think they're rivaling the Suns for the shittiest situation in the NBA right now. How do you give up the 2026 pick and make it unprotected? It's mind boggling. They're going to be bad next year. They're going to be bad. I
Yeah.
promise you they will be bad. And it just feels like Willie Green's going to be out the door next year. This is a perfect way to give him a roster where he has no chance to succeed. You're out the door next year with this new regime. But yeah, I'm disgusted by the Pelicans. And they've gotten gifted 2 number 1 overall picks in the last 13 years now with Davis in 2012 and Zion in 2019, and they're gonna have blown both of their windows with both of those players. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Pelicans.
I mean, the thing with the Pelicans is they were set up so well to sort of transition the other way and go in the direction of we have the seventh pick, we have 23. and we have a 26 first that if we tank and we trade some of these guys, will be a really nice pick for us, and we can start to build out this roster. They sort of go weirdly the other way and trade up to get Queen, who's not a good fit with Zion. They're like kind of they have some of the similar issues with their game. They sort of occupy similar spots on the floor. Yeah, I don't get that one at all. Fears is fun, but if you're a team that's, I guess they're gonna try to win in that West, I don't really see how that's gonna happen. Especially with you don't know when Zion's gonna play when he's not. But yeah, I don't know. That was a really tough trade for New Orleans.
Yeah, and apparently maturity's been like a red flag for Queen. So we'll see. Give it a year or two. We'll see how many LBs he puts on because that's a concern with New Orleans and all the food down there.
All that
We've
good
seen it with
food.
Zion. Yep.
Yeah. Another braces guy, Derek Queen. My first loser for the draft, I'm gonna go De'Aaron Fox. We talked about it a couple episodes ago, but his situation now in San Antonio is just looking murkier and murkier by the day. He was already in a situation in Indiana, I mean in Sacramento when he was with Halliburton, where it was like the young guy's there, you're there, you don't really fit together. You both need the ball. What do you do? And I think this time, I think the writing's on the wall. They're going to keep Harper and they're going to develop him. And I think Fox is the odd man out again.
Yep. Unfortunate for him. If you kind of go down his career, that one season where they're the 3 seed, that's really his claim to fame right now. Because before that, the Kings were pretty down on him. He had a couple down years before that. And then that shot his stock back up. And then the next 2 years in Sacramento, not great. Gets traded to San Antonio. Looks like to be a quick refresh for his career. And now we're at this point just 6 months later. So yeah, it's an L for him. It's an L for Clutch Sport clients. Sad to see.
Clutch. Rich Paul gets a stray from Beck. Yeah, I mean, the thing with Fox is he's only 27, and the theory of Fox is that he is a super skilled lead guard who can create, who can get to his shot, and is really athletic and could raise the ceiling of your team. But in practice, a team that has Fox as a headliner is just it's not going anywhere. And I think San Antonio saw that, and I think that was part of the Harper equation at two. And the reason that they didn't try to, send some assets to Phoenix for KD. So yeah, just really tough spot for Fox there. I felt bad putting him on here, but I just don't see those two coexisting.
Me either. And I mean, throw Castle into the equation too. Uh,
Yeah,
he can play as an off ball guard, but I also feel like he is a guy who needs the ball in his hands a decent amount. So yeah,
yeah.
L for Fox. Feel bad because I like his game, but there's no really other way you can spin it.
Yeah, I do like Castle as sort of like one of those like Drew Holiday type kind of guards that just kind of plays off ball, plays good defense, and gets out in transition. The three really has to develop for him, and if it doesn't, yeah, I see what you mean there with that fit. But yeah, so that's my first loser. Who's your second?
The Phoenix Suns continue to just not count their wins. You get a really nice win with Maluak at 10, and then you don't even wait 2 minutes and you go trade the 29th pick in this draft, which turned into Liam McNeely, which I'm not excited about him. So fair, I guess, and a
Sure.
2029 first. Yeah, it's just really strange why you're giving up more assets for Mark fucking Williams, the guy who failed his physical just 6 months ago. Just strange moves. It's classic Matt Ishbia doing Matt Ishbia things. The Phoenix Suns, they'll be without any assets in 2 years. I can
Yeah,
guarantee you. If
they're
they continue to go at this rate, it's just so fucking weird. It's
I
so weird.
no, I completely agree, and I think the Suns are going to be the poster boys of the cautionary tale for the new CBA. I just think that they completely threw caution to the wind and thought that Ishbia almost operates like it's like 2011 or 2012, where you just pair like a couple big names together and you just win 60 games and have deep playoff runs. And he just put all his eggs in that basket, and he's just doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down. And yeah, I mean, the Mark Williams trade, we were texting during the draft and we were like, oh my God, Malwatch is gonna fall to 10 to Phoenix. Like this is they somehow like got bailed out in this whole thing. And like that could change some of the calculus here. And then immediately I just get a sleeper notification. The Phoenix Suns are trading for Mark Williams, who is another center, uh, who, yeah, I just don't see how he helps them now. And if they're going eventually in the direction of rebuilding, I don't see how he helps them then either. So that was a really strange one for Phoenix.
Yeah, and just another point to that. If you're targeting any team's center spot, why are you going after Charlotte? This is twice now in a year. Nick Richards and now Mark Williams. And honestly, Plumlee too. I mean, the last team he played on, he played on Charlotte not too long ago. It's just like I don't get it. Matt Ishbia, you're a clown. It's the
Yeah.
weirdness. It's the absolute weirdness. You lose again. Yeah, you had your win for
You lose
really
again.
a good minute there, and then the L came back.
Yeah, I mean the thing with Ispia and with the Suns is I liked their draft besides that. Like you get Rasheer Fleming early in the second round. You get Malawach, obviously. Like this wasn't besides that pick, like this was a good draft for them. And then I mean besides that trade for Mark Williams. And then you just further compound previous mistakes and give away future assets and I don't know, man. Like, we've just talked a ton about Ishbia, and I don't even know what to say about him anymore. He's just running them into the ground. But yeah, my second loser of the draft, we're gonna go with Carter Bryant, stylist. We'll show an image of that fit, but dear God, man, this has been a new thing, and maybe I mean, I'm not gonna be the guy to say that I know what I'm doing fashion wise, but what's the no shirt under the suit thing? Is that something now? Like, are people on the Paris runway just, flopping around no shirt? What's going on there?
I'm gonna have to throw back on this one a little bit because
Oh no.
he explained the meaning behind the outfit.
Oh, am I gonna feel
No,
awful after this?
I'm kidding. It's a fucking terrible fit.
Well, the thing was he had the story about how he grew up with like deaf siblings and how he learned sign language.
Oh God.
And it was like a cool story. And then I was like, oh no, is Beck gonna like tie the fit into that? Like, am I an asshole here? But okay, so there's
Yeah,
nothing
no,
there.
no, we might get clipped.
Yeah, no, it's just a bad fit from Carter Bryant. In a C, there were a ton of other bad fits, and his stood out. So
Yeah,
that's
Ace
pretty
Bailey too.
impressive. Yeah, Ace had a crazy one. We'll get to Ace. But yeah, who's your last loser of the draft?
The Bulls they continue to show why they just can't make the normal pick ever. Um, like bro, you go get this guy from fucking Germany, or he's from France, but he was in the German league.
Right.
Skipped the finals, came over. You
Yeah,
do that
that
this year. He's a mysterious pick at 12. How do you say the guy's name last year? Matthias Sabonis, Fucky Ducky. I don't know how to say his.
Matthias
yeah,
Buzelis, or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I don't know how to say his name, but he was kind of a mysterious prospect. He had a nice little rookie season, but
yeah, I kind of like
God damn,
Buzelis.
just for once, like go and get a certified guy. It's like Patrick Williams at 4. It reminds me of. It's just, I just wish the Bulls could say, yeah, we're gonna do the normal thing for once. Go get Carter Bryant at 12.
Yeah,
That's just,
yeah. And then they take who they take Lachlan Olbrich in the second round, so it's just another guy from
yeah,
overseas.
it's
Yeah.
shooting darts.
Yeah. I mean, Karnisovas in his tenure with the Bulls has I mean, all he wants to do is be the 10 seed and get bounced and be under the tax. So, I mean, this is just a continuation of the mid Bulls doing what the mid Bulls do. And wait, do we have any confirmation on the Giddy contract with them? What they're going to do with that or no?
We might. I'm not in the know on that, but
Yeah, I mean, I think Giddy's about to get a bag from them, which is just hilarious, and we'll just continue this process of them.
probably. It's funny because you're just about to get off the Lonzo contract, which was a disaster for injury reasons, and then
Right.
you're gonna basically sign 4 more years over the Giddy.
Exactly.
Hilarious stuff.
Yeah, and the Lonzo contract, you could at least talk yourself into the talent he had before and what they did the first season he was there with that DeRozan and Vucevic
Yeah,
season.
what he means for the team.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
so
like
much
you
better with them, and like there was a little bit of merit to that, but Giddy. It's kind
Giddy.
of proven that you're not going to be a winning basketball team with them. But like you said, they do want to be the 10 seed. They want to stay under the tax. So he's the perfect guy to be,
It
the
just
10th through 12th seed.
yeah, I just feel so bad for Bulls fans because if my ownership was just so content with being just the definition of mid, I would be so mad. Like I'd rather have what the Sixers had where we were just completely ass for a year than like do the 10 seed thing for 15 straight years.
Yeah, it
Um,
depends if you're 25 years old now or you've
yeah.
lived through some of those finals wins with Jordan with
Right,
them,
that's
I
true.
feel like. But
That's true.
yeah,
Older Bulls fans have a decent amount to be happy about.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's brutal. My last loser, we're gonna go with Connie Knippel's parents. I don't know. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. Con Knippel, obviously, two Ks in the name. I think both his parents have two Ks in their names, and then the kids are Cash, Kager, Kinston, and Kidd,
Yeah.
all Ks.
And they didn't have a great showing in the interview too. Monica
Yeah.
McFucky Ducky was ripping the mic away from them, and I don't know which kid it was, but he was getting real awkward on the mic. Just a bad
Oh my
showing from
God.
the family, bad showing
Yeah.
from Monica McFuck. Yeah, just a bad showing overall. Not great,
Yeah.
but I like Khan. He's going to be a good player.
Yeah, Cons. I love that pick for Charlotte. We talked about that on the previous pod about whether Charlotte was dumb enough to just continue going down the road of hoopers who have no real fit on the team, and they went Con, which I thought was a good pick. It was I guess on the safer side, but yeah, I thought it was just a good basketball player. That's basically end of story for them.
Yeah, it's funny because they doubled down at 29 and get Liam McNeely. So they've changed their
Yeah,
ideology in a year now.
yeah, the optics on that are something. But yeah, so those are our winners and losers. And then moving on to the rest of the draft. Uh, let's start with my boy VJ. VJ Edgecombe, uh, all off season throughout the process, or I guess not off season, but draft process. It's back and forth. Is it Ace? Is it VJ? Could Trey Johnson sneak up? Even Khan's name was getting floated around. The Sixers, stick to their guns, take VJ. He has some incredible post-draft interviews, uh, full of tears, just thanking his mom. He said that he didn't have electricity for 7 years, living on a generator in the Bahamas. Started a foundation with his NIL money for scholarships for kids in the Bahamas. Yeah, I love the pick. He's a great basketball player who's 19 and has all the tools that you want to be a contending team. What'd you think about that pick?
Yeah, I mean, as a sports fan, this is the type of pick that gets you horny. No homo. It really is. He says all the right things. He looks the part. He's going to be great for that youth movement there with him, McCain, and Maxi. Throw Quentin Grimes in there too if you want to. Yeah, they have a nice little two timeline thing going on here.
Yeah.
If their veterans can stay healthy this year, Embiid and George, you might have something. You really might have something. And then it'll be interesting to see like how much work VJ gets on the ball or if he's going to be solely used as an off ball guy. But I like him in transition for this team. Him and Maxi being able to run together, I think gives another dimension to this team because they've been one of the slower teams in pace. How they play through Embiid the last 8 years now. So
Yeah.
hopefully they can kind of get away from solely just going through Embiid and kind of give themselves more of a diversity of offense, their diet. Could be
Yeah.
great to see.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on there. I think the VJ pick, and not only that, but Maxi McCain, VJ, and Grimes, who you mentioned. I think it's just a shift in vibes, playing style, and just like a thought process. Like all these guys are young, athletic. They seem like good dudes from all the. I mean, we don't know any of these players, but they seem like good guys in all the interviews and media availabilities. And they all work extremely hard. And honestly, like it sounds so cliche, but like as a fan, it is like half the battle. Just like wanting to believe that these guys are like grinding in the off season and really want to get better. And I love Maxi as like the mentor to VJ and McCain and even Edwards, Justin Edwards. Maxi's posted a ton of videos in the offseason working with him one on one and teaching him the craft. So I love it. I think this little core, this younger core that we're building, sort of adjacent to the Embiid timeline, is kind of fun. No matter what direction we go, if we want to contend now, all these guys are really good and athletic, and they can help us right now. If we want to eventually pivot to a Maxi-led team, it also helps us for that. So yeah, I loved it.
I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah, and then we'll go to the other guy who was another option. for the Sixers, who went number 5. And that was none other than Arius Ace Bailey. Danny Ainge said, you don't wanna come play for us? That's too bad. Come on down to Salt Lake City. What do you think about
Yeah,
that?
it's crazy. The reports of him not flying back with the Walter Clayton Jr. on the flight Thursday night. We'll see if he shows up Monday. Because if he doesn't show up Monday, then we have a lead topic to go with.
Yeah, well, there was a report. There was a report today that he's gonna fly in Saturday tomorrow. So when this comes out, he'll fly in tomorrow. So I mean, he will end up being there. But
Allegedly,
right, right, right. And it's just you already have the optics of will this guy show up? Will he not? Do we have a situation on our hands? But
it's just hard. It's so hard to see this going well. Like everything's negative about it. Have you seen like the videos and just like the background on his agent or
oh
his
yeah,
management? Yeah,
yeah,
the Cooper guy, Sharif Cooper's dad.
yeah.
This guy had an attempted murder charge, and he's the guy who's representing Ace. Yeah, tough there. So I honestly now I have a little bit of sympathy for Ace. I would get out from under that guy's wings as fast as you can. Seems like a sinking ship, and it's sinking drastically fast.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough. I mean, the other thing is, oh, and I just a fun little anecdote from draft night. I was watching the draft with a buddy who's not a huge NBA fan, my buddy Steve, and he's sitting next to us, and we're watching the pick come in for Ace at 5, and they show the highlight tape, and it was literally exactly what we described about the come and get this bag work. They show like these ridiculous contested threes that are just splashing. There's one clip where he does literally like the J.R. Smith reverse dunk where he starts from like the one baseline, swings around and just bangs it on the other side. And I and my buddy goes, "This is the greatest basketball player of all time. Why do we not take this guy?" And that's just
Yeah,
like I just started dying laughing because that's just Ace Bailey in a nutshell.
yeah, he'll soon see why.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, and the other thing is, so Utah takes they take Ace at 5, and then they trade to get Walter Clayton later in the first. I believe it was 17, 18. What was it?
18.
18, yeah. They trade with the Wizards to get Walter Clayton. What do you think of that fit?
A little bit of a reach. Weird fit right now, but it signals that you don't have any faith in Keontae George. You still have Sexton. So, yeah, it's weird, but he might be able to be a guy who can play off the ball more than he showed this year at Florida because he was the main guy for them.
Right.
But, yeah, it's tough to see right now, as it is with a lot of these teams, though, that are picking in the lottery, that a lot of these teams just have log jams of players who are not terrible, but they're not good, really. They're just middling players. So
Right.
when you draft guys, it's tough to see the fit. A lot of more things will come out after free agency, and you'll kind of see how the depth chart aligns. But yeah, I don't hate the pick. I think it was a little bit of a reach, but no, I mean, not the worst pick in the world.
Right. Yeah, I'm sort of in the same boat. The thing is, I wasn't terribly mad about the place where Clayton went at 18. I thought that was throughout the draft process, he was kind of rising, especially after March Madness, and I kind of figured he'd go somewhere around there. It's just I just wish it wasn't the Jazz. Like it's that like you said, that logjam in the backcourt and just sort of all those guys that need touches, especially now with Ace there too. It's tough because you want to see him flourish as either, like you said, that off-ball guard, or even I want to see him with a lot of like lead creator opportunities because I just think he's super fun to watch with the ball in his hands. But yeah, so I wasn't mad with the spot. I was more mad with the location there. Just tough one for me. But yeah, so let's transition now to your guy at 8, Igor, or I guess Yegor. They're saying is how you pronounce it, Yegor
However you want to
Brevis.
say it, I'm not the expert on this,
Yeah,
but
break it down.
I am the expert on Igor. I'm so high on him. Love his IQ, love his passing ability, especially out of the pick and roll. You can see the first option, you can see the second option, you can see the third option. Uh, Really great ability to read a defense. I think the shot has a lot more potential than people are saying. Yeah, those are the two main things for him. And then defensively, yeah, he might be a little bit of a cone, but I think he projects to be like, at worst case to me, is going to be giddy, which would kind of suck. But Giddy
Yeah.
doesn't have. I don't think Giddy's gonna have the level of jump shot that Yegor, however you want to say it, will eventually have. And I think Igor can also play off the ball a little bit, as
Mm.
shown at BYU this year. They had two other guys who kind of played lead guard for them. The usage was really high for Igor, but the tournament was a different story for them. They played more of team basketball. That's why they went on that nice run to the Sweet 16. Ultimately, lost to Alabama due to their defense. But yeah, uh, perfect landing spot. I think Brooklyn is the kind of the perfect landing spot for a lot of these project players, like we said. So I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I mean the thing with Yegor is I the spot at 8 is tough for me.
I
About
don't give a
that.
fuck about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like the same thing with the Hanson dude out of China. Like fuck it,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
fuck
I
it.
guess.
Honestly, for some of these teams, just fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Nets, I guess you're so much more willing to take one of these project picks. And I think the picture you want to paint for Igor for long term is that he's that connective passer off ball, sort of that Nick Batum kind of connective passer. And he's definitely a capable shooter. Whether or not he's a good shooter right now, obviously I don't think that's the case yet. The mechanics are good, like we talked about last pod. I think he can develop into a better shooter. But yeah, he can play off ball. He's tall. The defense is definitely a concern for me. That's why 8 was a bit rich for me. And I don't really see long term that he gets much better defensively. But if he's a connective passer, that's a good shooter and creator. That's pretty valuable. So I don't know. I mean, to me, I wouldn't have made the pick, but for the Nets, why not take a swing? Like, who cares? I don't know.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So Yegor, Beck loves it. I'm a bit more skeptical, but I don't mind it, I guess, is my final take there. And then your Grizz. They trade up to 11. They get Cedric Coward out of Wazoo. He's one of my sleepers in the last pod. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, I didn't have really much intel going into the draft on him, but a lot of the guys on Twitter they like him a lot. They point to his defensive ability, especially in the department of deflections. He has a lot of potential there. The shot looks great. He is an older prospect, but yeah, he looked great coming out of Washington State. And I'm cool if the Grizzlies have a guy that they pinpoint and they want to go get for a wing tandem with him and Jalen Wells. By all means, go do it. And they have a pretty high rate of hitting on these guys from Twitter that they like. Brandon Clark 2019, Desmond Bain 2020. So yeah, go get your guy. Hopefully this is the start of our wing tandem for the future. Him and Wells could be fucking money for years. It's
Yeah.
music to my ears.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I saw people complaining about um, them trading up 5 spots, but I look at this and I see a 28 first from Orlando, who now is going to be one of the best teams in the East. So I'm
Yeah,
not
and then
sure that that's a
just
late
two
20s
seconds.
pick and then 2 seconds. And I don't if you have a guy who you really want, who you know is going to go before it gets to you, I have no issue with that draft capital being moved, especially for a team like the Grizzlies, who after moving Bane, they needed to be a bit more urgent.
Yeah, and he looks like he's got some dog in him, and that's exactly what we need in the building. Especially with we get that with our second round pick too. We just need guys with some dog in them and some guys who aren't going to take shit. We've had some pussies on the wing for the last 4 years. Zaire Williams, he didn't give you a lot of dog, like no shit to him. We need some guys with some shit to them, and
Yeah,
that's why I like this pick a lot because that seems to be the type of player he projects out to be. Go get your guy, Grizzlies. Let's actually have a season where we don't get fucking pushed around. We actually go get rebounds without relying on Steven Adams or Zach Edey to go get like we need guys on the wing who rebound. We need Jaren Jackson to go get rebounds. Let's go fucking get a top 4 seed this year. Let's get to the second round. Something we can be happy about. And then hopefully we can build this out for the future next 3 years.
let's go. You got me fired up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing for me with Cedric Coward, and the reason I loved him throughout the process was the tape. He's really strong defensively. He rips guys. You can't really get through him. Like there's a lot of guys where if you sort of get on their outside shoulder and you drive, you can kind of work your way around them. He's very sturdy in that way. The shots, like you said, the shot is really impressive, the mid range and from three. He had some great percentages. And I love the fit in Memphis. Like you said, I like them getting back to like that grit and grind culture and having two-way players
Yeah,
because I think that's what's made that's the identity of that organization and that's what made them, a postseason threat in the past. And I think it
yeah,
can again.
and that's what made me fall in love with them.
Exactly.
And my love's been wavering the last couple of years, so let's get back on fucking track.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. So now looking further down in the draft. We have the beginning of the second round. I want to ask you, what were your favorite picks? Either early or late in the second round. I have a few at the top of the second that I really liked, and then one or two guys later on that I liked. But were there any guys that stood out to you in the second?
Yeah, I got one that really stands out to me. Jahmai Broome at 35. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
yeah.
Really disgusting pick, but nonetheless, I like Elijah Martin at he went 39, correct?
That's your FAU boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I love the FAU boys. They mean a lot to me. They almost made me a lot of money, so shout out to them. But Elijah Martin, he's been to the Final Four twice, won one with Florida this past year. He's a dog, and he's got crazy uber athleticism. I saw a lot of people say this was a reach. No, this guy's gonna be. I can almost promise you, this guy's gonna be a nice like seventh, eighth guy off the
Oh
bench
yeah.
in the next couple of years. He's perfect. 3-and-D guy with some athleticism, some shit to him. That's the type of player that you should be looking for in the second round. And another 4-year guy. Like these 4-year guys seem to be able to make an impact right away. And if they just make a good impression in training camp, summer league, they got a good shot to have some standing in the league.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I also think the second round, I mean, and I guess the Sixers agree as well, because the second round is sort of where, maybe in the first round you're a bit more scared to take the older guys just because you don't see some of the long-term value there because they're going to be on their second contract when they're 27. But the second round, you're just looking for guys to fill out your rotation. And if there's a guy like Elijah Martin, who was also on my list, who you just know is an NBA player. I think that's the name of the game in the second round. Pick guys who are going to be plug and play NBA players. And that's what's been effective in the past in second round drafts, and that's what was this year. The Broom pick, you brought it up.
Weirdness.
It's I'm not gonna lie, my immediate reaction, I was pissed. Just because Adu Thiero was still on the board, and I do love him out of Arkansas. I thought he was really fun, crazy athletic wing who's a great defender. But I mean, the thing with Broom is you really don't need him to do much. I guess you're just looking for a backup big who can sort of play some minutes, and he is a great shot blocker. He's a good passer, so I guess he can find the one pass that I see on tape a ton from him is he'll catch it sort of in like the low to mid post, and then he'll sort of throw like a swing pass just with his left hand to the opposite corner to an open shooter. And you got to think if it's Jared McCain over in that corner or even if Maxey rotates over there. That's sort of enticing just for a second unit. But yeah, I mean it's the second round, so I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. But that wasn't who I
Yeah,
want
I just
there.
don't think he figures to be like have the talent to play at the NBA level. That's really all it
Yeah,
is with me for him. Not enough athleticism.
yeah,
The
yeah.
NBA is an athleticism game at this point. If you don't have a good jumper to offset that, then it's going to be hard to stick. I do have one other guy I like. Again, the Hornets switching their whole draft strategy. Ryan Kalkbrenner out of Creighton. He's been an impact player for them the last 3 years. Really nice stretch big. Uh, Again, this guy, he reminds me of Frank Kaminsky a little bit, but Frank Kaminsky had basically a 10-year career. He may have been underwhelming to a lot
Another
of folks.
Hornet too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yep.
the Hornets do this, whatever.
Yeah.
But like Kalkbrenner, I think he can give you some shooting off the bench. That's going to be nice. And he's led the winning, so like him a lot. And then Kobe Bryant at 41 matches what the
Yeah.
Warriors look for. We're just going to try to get as many shooters as we get or can get in the second rounds. Uh,
Well, yeah, Breda was traded to the Suns from the Warriors.
oh,
I know.
oh, yeah.
I know. I
Missed
was
that one.
I was not stoked about that because I love to fit with him in Golden State.
All right,
But
I hate
yeah.
this pick now. I'm just kidding. Like the prospect a lot. He seems like he's was a top 3 to 5 shooter coming into the draft. So
Yeah.
let's see if he can get some PT in Phoenix. But wow, they get another guard, another shooting
Yeah.
guard.
Yeah.
Just insanity.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I liked the pick that I really liked. Well, we talked about Rasheer Fleming to Phoenix. That was one of my other ones. But I really liked Tyrese Proctor to Cleveland. To me, Proctor is an Andrew. I tweeted this the other day. I think he's an Andrew Nemhard clone. He's like a 40 his numbers are pretty ridiculous from three. He was like a 42, 43% three-point shooter. And it's a lot of off the dribble stuff, catch and shoot stuff. He can dribble, he can handle, he's a great on-ball defender on the perimeter. I just think adding a guy like that to the Cleveland rotation that clearly needed a couple more guys in that series against Indiana, especially when they had injuries, will help them a lot in the postseason.
Ty Jerome replacement.
Yeah, I mean, could be because I
Yeah, Ty
listen.
Jerome's up this offseason. That's why I bring it up.
Yeah, yeah, no, and Ty Jerome, he did fulfill a huge need for them in just like some off-ball shooting and creation that they desperately needed. And I think Tyrese Proctor can sort of do some of those things at least that you need.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that pick.
yeah, and then my last one, we brought him up already, but Adu Thiero to the Lakers. They get away with it again. Rob Pelinka in the second round. That was my guy for the Sixers, and yeah, he's gonna be a nice rotational piece for the Lakers. He's an NBA player, and I think that's what you look for in the second round.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! And then the other thing I wanted to bring up before we close was we get one of the best beefs of the offseason after I think it was after day one of the draft. Bill Simmons calls out Big Perk, Kendrick Perkins, for saying that the Toronto, crazy take by the way, says that the Toronto Raptors are going to be a top six seed in the East next season. Bill Simmons calls him out, and we get this clip from Big Perk, and I'll pull it up on the screen.
Heading to this other event that I gotta do, thinking about Bill Simmons, cupcake ass. Always got my name in his mouth. But I'm gonna address you Sunday, okay? Believe that. I'm gonna address you on my special edition, me only, yours truly, Sunday on road tripping, okay? They give me my spot, and I'm gonna get on your ass like back pockets. Cause I'm about tired of you. I don't know who anointed you, the preacher or king of the head honcho of overseeing basketball and way things need to be. Man, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done, period, in the game of basketball? Have you ever played? And I usually don't even address people because I don't even be really caring about it, but it's kind of pissing me off because you feel like you're sitting on this throne. You got in your feelings. You got in your feelings because I said that I feel like the Toronto Raptors are going to be a top six seed in the Eastern Conference this upcoming season. So that wasn't a crazy take or anything to that nature. It's a real thing, fool. When you look at the Eastern Conference, Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton most likely going to be out for the entire season. We know what Jason Tatum is going through with his Achilles as well. Boston blowing the whole damn thing up. The only teams that I'm thinking about right now is the Cavs, right? The Orlando Magic, the Detroit Pistons going to be back, in the New York Knicks. That's four teams. And when you think about the most important position in the NBA, which is the perimeter, they have that. They have two all-star caliber players. Two, maybe three if you include R.J. Barrett, with Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes. You know what I mean? So why was that like, oh, Perk, yeah, he said this and I'm a, man, shut up. You didn't think before you started drinking them Heinekens. And then you got your little peanut gallery up on the podcast who just agree, yeah, Bill, yeah, you're right, stand up. Man, shut the hell up. The hell you done. But I'm going to get more on your ass come Sunday. Believe that. I'm going to finish doing my research on you. Enough is enough. Like you some type of head honcho. You ain't no shot caller.
So Big Perk starts off hot with cupcake ass about Bill Simmons, and then does the classic ex-NBA player move of saying, "Did you ever play basketball?" I think it's hilarious. I think Bill sometimes gets a little too comfortable calling out um, media personalities, especially ESPN, because of his past relationship with ESPN, but I just thought this was a hilarious clip from Perk.
Yeah, I mean, Perk gets a little bit too comfortable calling people out too. So, I mean, if you're gonna be able to dish it, then be able to take it at least in some grace. Don't get this riled up about it. It seems like a little bit of an overreaction from Perkins, but I mean, Perkins is kind of a content machine for them. They pay him good bucks over there, so maybe he's just looking at it like it's content too. Probably not as deep as it is on the surface, but
No,
yeah,
yeah,
Perkins is hilarious. I find Simmons to be very entertaining too for his NBA coverage. So
yeah, and
fan of
I
both of them, even though Perkins is an idiot. But
yeah, I also just love that Perk brings up RJ Barrett as like a superstar as part of his take. He's like they got Ingram, Scotty Barnes, and RJ Barrett,
yeah,
three
and he'll
superstars.
turn on RJ Barrett within
Oh
like
yeah,
5 months too.
oh
So
yeah. I mean, just ask New York Knicks fans about RJ Barrett. But yeah, so we get that beef, which was a fun little tidbit, and then finally, Masai Ujiri, Toronto Raptors GM, I guess president of basketball operations, gets shit canned. What
yeah,
do we?
out of fucking nowhere. But
Yeah,
when you go like Toronto Raptors Twitter, they're a little bit more in tune with everything. Didn't seem like this is a reaction to the drafts, but more
yeah,
so kind of a reaction to it seemed like Masai might have been on his way out for a couple of years. He hinted at that. Seemed like there was a little bit of a power struggle with the ownership after they haven't been a winning team the last couple of years. So it seems like a build up more so than we hate what you drafted in this draft class.
yeah. I mean, I think the timing of it was the weirdest thing because if you already knew that you were going to fire him, why do you go through the entire draft process, do the draft with, I'm assuming his input. We don't know that, I guess, but I mean, Murray Boyles, I would like to think that he had some say in that if he was the acting, whatever it was, president of basketball operations. So yeah, I just thought it was a weird time. I also thought they drafted kind of well, which makes it even a little bit weirder. But yeah, I mean, in in the Raptors' defense, in firing him, I think since the 2019 championship, the Raptors have been on a pretty steady decline, and I don't really know what their direction was with the RJ Barrett, quickly Brandon Ingram core kind of thing they have going, Scotty Barnes. But yeah, I thought it was a weird one and mostly weird timing.
Yeah, I didn't like the Ingram trade at all. Like the RJ Barrett trade, cool. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Get a decent return for Anunoby at a time where it kind of felt like you had to deal him. Like what's he doing sitting on their team? But yeah, the Ingram trade was pretty strange. We'll see if Masai gets another job or that's like kind of his end in the NBA. That would be
Think.
interesting to see. But yeah, Toronto has a logjam of forwards. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that really needs to be said. It's definitely something behind the scenes, not to do with this draft.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I think Masai will get another job if I had to guess. I just think he's done enough, especially with getting Kawhi for that championship run. But yeah, I mean, that's a tough one for Masai to wake up to the day after a draft. But yeah, so, and then this the last little thing I wanted to bring up. The Sixers declined Jared Butler's option today, and Andre Drummond exercises his player option. So not incredibly great news for the Sixers roster building there on the Drummond front, but
I don't mind Drummond, honestly. Seems like a vibes guy at this point of his career. Like,
yeah, yeah,
go
and
crazy, King.
right, and that's go crazy, King. He seems to love it here, and he'll just be a de facto assistant coach with Lowry. So I mean, it is what it is there. Anyways, that's all we have for today's show. A ton of great stuff. A very interesting draft that was fun to break down. And we'll be back early next week with a new pod. So stay tuned for that, guys.
Yes, sir.